What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And today we are taking a look at the highly regarded and hard to find lowest born Saiyan SH Figuarts Goku. Um, and real quick before we jump in the video, I just kind of wanted to give you guys an opportunity, especially my recurring followers and if you are recurring viewers, and if you like dropping comments in the comment section below. I just wanted to know, kind of what you guys would like to see next. I have a couple video ideas, but kind of the ones that are mainly in my head right now are I want to talk about imports. And one option would be to just go over them kind of some of my videos that I take like on the internet where I'm just scrolling and kind of presenting things to you. Or one could be an actual physical presentation of the couple imports that I have. And then the third and last option would be kind of how are scalpers impacting the toy kind of realm. Is it actually a big deal, or is it kind of a non-issue? But without further ado, if you guys could leave me a comment down below letting me know what you guys would like to see. And I only get like 2 or 3 comments, so chances are if you leave a comment, most likely that'll be my next video. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Okay, so getting started, you guys know we always like to knock out the accessories just because they're not always the most fun thing to talk about. But I would say that this is one of the figures that's an exception. For a $35 figure, a general release like SH Figuarts cheap line, he comes with 2 heads. I mean, that's pretty insane. One of the first characters that I can recall doing this is the Gohan, and that guy was coming in at $65. So the fact that we're getting 2 head sculpts with Goku here and 4 interchangeable faceplates, I think that's pretty amazing, and I definitely understand why everybody is going out there and hunting this guy. But that is the second head, and I kind of showed it already. So if you'd like to see it some more, go ahead and rewind. And he does come with pretty much these pairs of hands. So it's like the kind of martial arts pose hands, and then kind of the key gripping, or really any kind of style of hand that you want to use this as. And then he does come with the like arms or the hand spread open blast hand for like key effects and Kamehameha and whatnot. And then he does come with, aside from the screaming faceplate on that, he comes with one that's like teeth gritting. And I'm just gonna go out and say that I think this is like the strongest part of this figure. Not only is it a $35 figure and a general release, so it's gonna go everywhere to all Targets and Walmarts eventually. So just be patient. But this guy is amazing in the face sculpt department. Like, these look spot on to the Namek Saga Goku. And then he does have this one where he's like giving you the side eye. And then this is the one that he does come with, but it's not really an accessory. Let me go ahead and snap that off just to show you here. This is the base head sculpt where he's showing the, just plain pissed off Goku. But yeah, that's pretty much it for accessories. But here, why adjust the figure? Kind of some context. I went to about, I want to say at minimum, 10 Targets that I went to for this guy. And that's actual physical locations. And I probably went to like 5 or 6 of those recurringly to find this guy. So I think he is. This video is being recorded April 16th. So he should be like more widely available now. I do have 2 copies. If you guys are looking for one, hit me up. And we'll work something out on Instagram. But this guy is extremely hard to find, at least in my experience. And like I said, he's probably popping up everywhere now. But when I was looking for him, I pretty much only found him once. And just real quick before we jump into it. So the first store that I went to, I was on Reddit and I saw this user drop the store that he went to and they had it. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to find it. And it was almost like a laugh in the face. Like I felt like I was humiliated that day, and I was like super disappointed in myself. So we went to that store and they did have it, but so it wasn't in the usual aisle, which if you guys are looking for it, these are only usually ever in like the collector spot, or sometimes it'll be somewhere in the toy aisle, like the regular where they have like the Marvel Legends and stuff. Sometimes it'll be there, but for the most part it's in the collector aisle. And this store, that's where it was. But there's like a electronics cart that had a bunch of returned items, and I had seen it and I didn't go get it and I didn't look through it. And later on, I went back and I was like, it says they have it, and like I checked the barcode and it said they had like six there, and everything. So I was like, it's got to be here. But then I looked around and it wasn't anywhere. I looked all over the place and it wasn't there. And I did not look in that cart, even though I had seen it. I was like, maybe I'll look in there, and I went to go check somewhere else. And then I went back to the collector aisle, and this other guy had it in his hand, and I was like, "Where'd you get it?" And he found it in the cart that I didn't look in. So I would say also, if you are hunting for this guy, make sure you look everywhere. Make sure you check those cards, like those return cards and everything, because sometimes the Target employees, they'll see stuff like plays in the wrong section. They'll put it in those cards, and then you can find it there. But anyway, that was just kind of a story to, what went on with getting this figure. So it's definitely gonna have a little bit more meaning now that I finally found it. And yeah, I would say if you're still looking for it, just keep looking for it. Don't pay those ridiculous scalper prices. I personally would have been willing to pay like 50, $60 just to get it over with. But that's me personally. Some of the prices that I've seen it going for on Mercari are ridiculous. I'm talking about $80 to $100 for this figure. It's an amazing figure, but it is not worth that much. It'll come out eventually. But anyway, moving on. So he is going to look up pretty good. Looking down pretty good, side to side tilt. So really good, man. Like for a 2. I think this is probably the best 2.0 Goku that there is. And then that shirt piece, and kind of one of the more lackluster parts of the 2.0 figures, is they don't have a whole lot of range in some areas, and definitely one of the areas is the shoulder. You can go ahead and spin it around and then get it that way, but it looks weird, like his shirt's in his armpit, and it don't look right, but it is what it is. These are a little bit dated. And then the butterfly joint, you're going to get about that much. Not very much, to be honest. And it's kind of unfortunate, but you can still turn the biceps and squeeze them in if you want to get those like Kamehameha poses or whatever. You can go ahead and do that. Bicep swivel, and then double joint in the elbows. And then he is on the ball hinge wrist peg. Just be careful with these, because like on most of the older versions of this version of Goku, the 2.0 Goku, those wrist pegs did tend to break pretty easily, so I would just be careful with those. And then with the upper torso, it, like I said, these are like kind of dated, so you're not going to get the best range. I'm sure you could mod these somehow, but stock, yeah, you're not getting a whole lot. And then back, again, not the greatest, but these are 2.0, so just keep that in mind. And then kicking up, this is probably the strong suit of the 2.0 figures. The legs are really good. So it's going to kick up about that much. Double hinge. And then you got the hinge down about that far. And then hinge forward about yay far. And then you do have the thigh swivel. And then kicking out, you're not going to get the best, but pretty decent in my opinion. You can get almost any pose that you want. And then this one doesn't have the little butt plate. This was before they introduced that. So you can kick far about that much. But that's pretty much for the articulation. And sorry if that story went on a little long, but I just wanted to give some context and kind of explain what, the journey I went through getting this guy. But, let's see if he can get a good, like little side kick. Let's see. And like, man, it's just, I freaking love those faceplates, man. It looks like straight out of the Namek saga. Like when right before he got to Frieza, when he was like fighting the Ginyu Force, when he came back, and he was like, having like god level feats fighting the Ginyu Force. But so you're still gonna get a pretty good amount of like articulation out of this guy, but just keep in mind that it is on that 2.0 buck. And I know some people like really don't like that and they're tired of it already. But I myself, like in conditions like this where it has a really, really good head sculpt and it looks like what it's supposed to look like, I don't really mind it, but I do wish they would finally introduce like a actual Z style slash super style 3.0 Goku already. Like the only ones we've gotten have been from third party companies, and I think that's just ridiculous. The fact that they're giving all these new brands that they're taking on all these like really good technological advancements and like 4.0 5.0 technology, and we still don't have a 3.0 Vegeta or Goku in like their regular clothing. I know we do have that full power Goku that's amazing. I still think that that's probably the best SH Figuarts to date, but yeah. So you're going to be able to still get those really good, fighting poses and stuff, but they're just not as good as some of their more updated counterparts. But with that being said, let's get into some size comparisons. Okay, and here starting off the comparisons, we have up next to the kind of 2.5 SH Figuarts Bardock. Blanked for a second there, sorry about that. And then we have the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta here on the right. And as you can see, you guys are pretty familiar with this body, but just, for comparison's sake, for you guys who might be wondering how if the head's a lot bigger or anything. And then here we got him next to Toolless or Turles, depending on what version of the anime you watched it. And then we have him here with the P Bandai final form full power Frieza, and that looks amazing. I love that. I know he never fought full power Frieza in that, but it works out. And then here we got him next to second form Frieza, which I really like that size comparisons. I don't think he got to fight him in base form. I think he was like in the little healing chamber, whatever it's called. But there you have that Z style figures. And then here, kind of doing the random ones, we got the Jack Pacific Shadow. And the only reason I'm recurrently using this guy is because it's really popular, and I feel like a lot of people have it, and it's a good way to compare the size. And then here we have him next to the GOAT Mayfek Superman with my custom shading on it. And then kind of to just top it off here, so you guys are really well aware, here we have him next to the SHF Deku. And I know a lot of people were saying that like the Deku's big, and I can definitely understand it. Like he's a little kid at this point. I don't know if he's like a full teenager already, but one thing I would say about that is they're completely different styles, and I feel like people would be complaining a lot if they made like a super tiny Deku that was accurate to his height and then labeled it at 65, right? But there you have it, kind of the size comparisons that I feel fit this character. Okay, but that pretty much wraps up the video. And kind of some final thoughts is I think this is definitely the best 2.0 Goku on this body. I think really the only other version of a 2.0 Goku that even rivals this figure is probably the Awakening Goku, the Super Saiyan one. And it's just because I think that figure is amazing. But this figure coming in with 2 head sculpts, 4 face plates, and a suite of hands at $35, I really think you can't beat it. The only other 2.0 that's at that same price that I think rivals this figure is probably that Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, because they both have amazing head sculpts. And I really wish that we would have gotten this a lot sooner, because it would have probably not left any bitterness. If this was like their second, base Goku in the 2.0 releases, I don't think people would really be bothered. But I definitely have not forgotten that this is still a body from like, I want to say like 2016, and it's still being used. So I definitely think they need to update this body and give us a better version. But as is, I think it's a great figure. I think it's a great dollar value. $35, like I said, with all of the stuff it comes with, amazing. Like, these are accurate. I'll probably end up putting a picture in one of the comparison, or when I'm talking about it, just to show you guys kind of how accurate it is. But I really love this figure, man, and definitely it was very hard to find, and finally finding it, it's definitely gonna have a special place in my heart for years to come. And I definitely think that it's a probably the best option for a Namek Goku that we have currently. So let me know what you guys think. As always, I'm very thankful for all the views, the likes, the shares, the comments, everything. And if you guys could do me a favor and sub, like, share, and leave me a comment answering that first question, and then also letting me know, are you guys going to be hunting this figure down? Is it an easy pass for you guys? Let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a good day. Peace.